How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.
this the end? There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? Oh, I'm burning in the dystopia. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the dystopia. This is the final genocide. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the dystopia. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the dystopia. This is the final
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Spy Stream. Tonight we are going inside a live training hosted by the ACLU to talk about people power. We're going to be logging on to the training in just a second here. I just want to remind people this is a live training. I don't know what they're going to say. I don't know what they're going to do. Might be really boring. We might get some interesting stuff on video. You just never know when you're doing Spy Stream. That's part of the fun of doing Spy Stream. If you want to support the work I'm doing, exposing and decoding the radical revolutionary far left, the ACLU is really more progressive, but that's okay too. They do have leftists involved in their organization for sure. Make sure you head over to my Substack. That is Karlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. Sign up for my Substack. You can sign up for free. You can also support the work I'm doing with $8 a month, $80 a year. I am 100% independently funded by people like you who just want to know what's going on in the world. You want to see for yourself. You don't want anyone interpreting. And I will give you the receipts. I will show you what's going on. I will break down the language. I will help you understand it. Lots of great resources over on my Substack, so head over there if you're looking for more information. We are going to get right into it, though. Guys, as a reminder, sometimes there is a bug on my Chrome for whatever reason where sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't work to connect to the Zoom meeting, all I need to do is shut down my Chrome and restart it. And that's just the way it goes. And sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. And I don't know why it does, but I'm just telling you this because we're going to log into the Zoom now. We're going to see if it's working. But if I disappear for a second, I will be right back. Literally, I will be right back. No one needs to worry. No one needs to leave or go anywhere. If I need to shut it down, I will be right back in like less than a minute. But let's all hope that doesn't happen. Let me make sure I'm signed in under the right Zoom. I am. Because obviously I'm not signed in under my real name. Obviously. Let's get this Zoom up. Okay, it's not started yet, so we just gotta wait. We just gotta wait for a second. Everyone mount the like button for me if you would be so kind. We do Spy Stream as often as we can. We go inside live leftist trainings. We see what the left is talking about behind closed doors. And I'm interested to see what the ACLU is doing. We're actually going into, so this is part of a series of trainings they're doing called people power trainings, where they're basically training people on how to be political organizers. And so this is the second one. We missed the first one because it was happening at the same time as another Spy Stream. So sometimes these things overlap, but you just never know. And I don't think they ever sent out a video for the first one. I was hoping they would, but I don't think they did. But we are getting in on the second one, so we'll be able to see what they're teaching. And we're just waiting for them to get started. So I hope you guys are all having a good week. I can't believe it's almost Friday. What should I watch tomorrow for happy hour, do you guys think? Does anyone have any suggestions? I don't know. I don't know what to watch tomorrow for happy hour. Someone better give me some ideas or I'm going to be left to my own devices and then who knows what we're going to get. I don't know what's going on. We'll watch the Boner song, the sing-along video for Trendlin. The Boner song now has a sing-along video. Yep, we got to do that. If you don't know what the Boner song is, well, come tomorrow to the stream. You're going to find out. Should be getting started any second here, guys. Just waiting for them to start the training. The continuation of Candace and Epstein. I don't want to watch Candace again. Well,
remove all the bars that keep us apart. I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you'd see and agree that every man should be free. I wish I could give all I'm longing to give. I wish
Recording
I
in
could
progress.
live like I'm longing to live. I wish I could do all the things that I can do. Though I'm way overdue, I'd be starting anew. Well, I wish.
Hello, folks. Just want to welcome you in. We're going to wait for folks to come into the webinar. Just enjoy the music for a couple minutes while we wait for everybody to come in. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Thank you.
Soar to the sun and look down at the sea. Then I'd sing, 'cause I know, yeah. Not sing, 'cause I know, yeah. Then I'd sing, 'cause I know how it feels. I know
as a reminder, I usually do not do commentary over the trainings because this is my recording too. But if you have comments, put them in the chat and we'll all be able to see them. Welcome, guys, to Spy Stream. We're waiting for the training to start. As you can see, they're playing some music right now.
how it feels to be free. Lord, Lord, Lord.
All's my life I has
Very
to
jazzy,
fight.
very NPR.
All's my life I hard times like yeah, bad trips like yeah. Nazareth, I'm f***ed up, homie, you f***ed up, but if God got us, then we gon' be alright.
We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. Huh? We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We gon' be
I want
alright.
to thank everybody for coming on. We are about to get started. We've been waiting for folks to trickle in, but I think that we are mostly ready to get it started. And yeah, we're going to be all right. Thank you, Zach, our DJ. Let's go ahead and move to the next slide. All right, so want to welcome everybody to tonight's programming. We're going to go ahead and get it started. My name is Milton. I am an organizing specialist with the ACLU's organizing team. And, you know, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. I'm going to be kind of like the person leading things at the beginning, and I'll lead you through this journey. My name, again, Milton. My pronouns are he, him, L. I am located in Washington, D.C., but I am a Florida boy. So, that's where I reside and where I am from. And one of the things we like to do at the beginning, at the top end of these things, is to go ahead and um, go ahead and make sure that we are able to communicate with each other. So, I am going to go ahead and don't have. So we're going to go ahead and talk about closed captioning. If you see the closed caption button on the bottom of your screen, you can go ahead and activate that.
Is this guy gonna make it? Is he gonna make it through the training? What is going on? What is happening? He's muted himself and he's like looking at his phone or something.
Hey, Milton, are you okay with me explaining the interpretation?
Yes, let me go ahead and introduce our Spanish interpreter, who will go ahead and explain to you guys the process of activating the Spanish interpretation service.
Hi, hola, ¿qué tal? Muy buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Liz Torres y estoy aquí con la Cooperativa Comunitaria de Lenguaje. El día de hoy vamos a practicar justicia lingüística para que todos puedan hablar y escuchar en el idioma de su corazón. Para poder tener acceso, usted irá al globo terráqueo, es un icono en la parte inferior de su pantalla, y ahí podrá seleccionar inglés o español. Si está en una tableta o en un teléfono celular, puede tener acceso por el menú de más, que son los tres puntitos, y ahí podrá seleccionar el idioma de su corazón, inglés o español. Hi, good evening. My name is Liz Torres, and I am here with the Community Language Cooperative. And I am here today so that we can practice language justice. And if you're bilingual, you do not need to select the channel. But if you're monolingual, please select, and you only speak Spanish, please select the language of your heart by going to the globe icon at the bottom of your screen. And you can select English or Spanish, or you can also select it from the More menu, especially if you're on a tablet or on a cell phone. And we can go ahead and get interpretation started, Milton. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we are starting it now. So again, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Milton. I am an organizing specialist with the ACLU. I reside in Washington, D.C., but I am a Florida boy. And one of the things we like to do is, and we don't unfortunately have time for everybody to share it, if you could have any superpower, why would it be and why? My superpower would absolutely be time travel so that I could go back 2 minutes and kind of get that right. However, it this is what makes us who we are, right? I'm going to go ahead and introduce our host for the evening, our trainer, Lemma. If we can move forward, I believe we will allow them to introduce themselves and to begin the training.
Hey y'all, my name is Lemma. I use she, her pronouns. To answer the prompt from before, I'm based out of the Tampa Bay area. So we got a lot of Florida representation for y'all tonight. And ooh, a superpower. I absolutely love yours and stepping back in time. That's great. I love it. But maybe fly. Or you know what? Just like, what's the word? Teleportation. I would love to just like be able to show up and not have to worry about travel. So that it would be my superpower. And y'all, we are so excited to have you all with us here tonight. We are going to be talking about relational organizing. This is my personal favorite thing about organizing. And we're going to introduce this to y'all, and those that have experience get to share the skill with others and just deepen your knowledge. So let's go ahead and get started. What actually is relational organizing? Let's go to the next slide, please. So in its simplest form, it's about organizing people that you know, your friends, your family. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get folks to take an action to support a particular cause, right? So it's getting the people who are closest to you to help build a movement. And we do this because we genuinely care about our people. So we think it's important that not only do we do the work to move movement forward, but we also get those that we care about to be pulled into it as well, right? The labor movement, for example. So this is something that it took a lot of change, you know, in the 30s and the 40s, and it didn't just happen by itself and one person doing a thing. It was laborers organizing with their coworkers, right? So this is an idea of it does take all of us. The civil rights movement didn't just happen. There were people that were organizing within their church. So there's opportunities to organize it, not just in your home, but also any other spaces that you spend time in. Even at the grocery store, you always have an opportunity to organize. So let's talk about why it actually works. Next slide. Relational organizing is the most effective form of organizing. There's a lot of different studies that have been done, and they conclude that relational organizing actually greatly increases the chances of someone taking an action. Because imagine a complete stranger asking you to do a thing versus your friend, your parent, your sibling, your coworker. There's somebody that you know and that you trust versus somebody that you just met for the very first time. So you're definitely a lot more likely to respond to that person's ask. So we know that like sometimes there could be a little bit of apprehension around it, but there's a lot of ways to get prepared to do this. And we find that using a list is not always the most accurate, right? So just a random list that a stranger will have. But you know better about the people in your life than this random list of data. So for those reasons, relational organizing really helps make sure that you're able to build that relationship. You have a higher likelihood of getting somebody to a yes, right? I don't know what people's experiences here are like, but I know that I've phone banked before, and I've definitely gotten a lot of people that, you know, kindly said no to an ask versus when I was asking friends and family to do a thing, they were definitely a lot more likely to do it, right? So whether this is asking somebody to sign a petition, come to an event, whatever it might be, it is more likely that we will get people involved in the cause and helping move our work forward if they are people that we know. Next slide, please. All right, so how do you actually relationally organize? The way to start is by mapping out your network. And we'll show you in the next slide of the different steps to make this happen, make it a reality. You map out your network. That's how you identify the people in your life that care about these issues. Because the reason that they're in your life is because there's some kind of connection that y'all have with each other. So that's the first step. Then we want to figure out, as part of the step 1 and 2, map out the network and then figuring out what your relationship is like and the shared things that y'all have in common. Then you're going to create your power squad, which we're actually going to do and practice this with each other. Then you make the ask, because what's wrong with making an ask? The worst thing that can happen is somebody saying no. But imagine somebody that you know and that care about says yes. How much better and stronger will your movement be? And following up we know that life gets really busy and people forget. So having a reminder for folks is always helpful. In a moment, we're going to have some examples of how to do this and help support you through this. But we know that this moment in particular requires us to have sustained action over time. Our power comes from staying engaged, showing up, and bringing others with us. So it's really important that we use relational organizing to build that and get people in the flow. So how do we actually make the ask? Next slide, please. There's a couple things that you'll want to think about before making the actual ask, right? We want to make sure that we are thinking through this. So if you're recruiting for an event, mass emails only go so far. The most effective way is to make sure that you get the right people to show up. So the way to do it is by talking to them and by doing it one-on-one. All right. So I don't know about y'all, but also I am more likely to show up to something that I know somebody that if a friend of mine is going, right? So there's some comfort level with that. It's the same thing, whether you're inviting somebody to a party or inviting somebody to a protest, you are more likely to go if you are with a group of friends and people that you trust. So when you're asking somebody, it's really important to focus on listening. You want to let other people do most of the talking, right? You want to listen to what they're interested in. You want to listen to the things that they care about. Because based off of that, you'll be able to figure out what things people genuinely care about and how to get their buy-in. Okay. So when you're actually making the buy-in, not everybody is going to say yes to all the things. And so that's why it's really important that you have a lot of different options available, right? You want to have the big ask. So maybe the big ask for you is to speak at a protest. Well, if they can't speak at a protest, can they attend a protest? If they can't attend a protest, can they share it with 5 of their friends? Right? So you want to have a few different options available. And then you just find something that makes sense for that person and whatever you can do to get them to a yes. Right? When you're having these conversations with folks, you do want to take advantage of that relationship that you have with them, find that connection that you have in common, and most importantly, be confident in the ask. There's a reason that this person is in your life. Imagine how many people we can pull into the movement if we do not shy away from trying to bring them in with us. Okay? So confidence is important, but confidence alone will not get us there. So we'll talk about a few other things that we need to do as part of the ask. Next slide, please. So the ask itself, with your confident self, you want to make sure that it encompasses a few different things. Your ask itself has to be specific. So don't be vague. Be very clear in what you're asking the person to do, because it's important to know what they are committing to. When you're also asking, make sure that you relay how important the ask is to the collective, right? Because what we do in this moment is bigger than just ourselves. It's about the collective movement, and you want to make sure that ask is relayed when you're talking to this person that you know. Your ask is something that's rooted in community, right? It's about taking that collective action. You also want to make sure that it's impactful, because every ask is not something that we do for the sake of doing something. We want to make sure that it helps move us forward, that it does make a difference. And the last thing that you want to make sure that your ask includes is that it's measurable and time-bound. What that means is it's very clear when somebody has met the ask. Like, for example, if I ask my mom to register 3 people to a particular event, or have 3 people sign on to a petition, and to do it within a week. So all of these are different components that you want to make sure are included in your ask. Next slide, please. So when you're actually making that ask and having people take action, there's a few things that you want to include. First, this is an opportunity to have somebody find purpose and power through action. Making an ask of somebody is not a burden at all. It makes a difference, right? And so when we make the ask, we frame it as an opportunity for them to get involved. So the ways that you want to turn interest into a commitment is using the 4 C's: connect, context, commitment, and catapult. Connect. Share who you are and why this issue matters to you, right? You already have that relationship, whether it's a deep relationship or it's a relationship you're still working on building and strengthening. It's important to ask how it also affects them personally, right? This is the way that we can build a real connection. Provide some context. Explain why the action that you're asking of this person is urgent and that it's important. So be specific about the challenges around this and the hopes that you have for it. And while you're having this conversation, ask questions of them that would draw out their true feelings, whether it's anger or aspirations, right? The way that it makes somebody feel can help them better connect to the ask and make it more likely to become a yes. Commitment. So make sure that you are direct and clear. For example, saying things like, will you join me in XYZ? Can we count on you to ABC? After you make a direct and clear commitment, pause, stay silent. I know it might be a little bit awkward for some folks, but it's really important to give the person the opportunity to process and think through it. Maybe they have some questions that they want to follow up with. If you jump in there, you kind of disrupt the opportunity for them to respond. That quiet moment often does lead you to a yes. And finally, catapult. So a yes deserves real responsibility. So at the same time, also ask them to have a friend take the action, help them prepare for it, meet one-on-one with them if you need to, brainstorm some ways that you can work with each other to make sure that their role in whatever the ask is meaningful, right? It can be a lot of pressure. So being there for somebody to help them through this will make things easier. And something we just want to share with folks is a no doesn't always mean never. Make sure to pay attention. Is it a no right now, or is it a no absolutely? And that's the reason that you want to have a few different alternatives available, because if they say no to the first one, there might be a few different options that they can choose from. Right. Next slide, please. Ooh, the follow-up. Y'all, the follow-up. Being an organizer is about 90% follow-up. This statistic is not based on any actual data. It's based off of my personal experience. But you want to follow up with them and make sure that they did it. You know, for example, I can't tell you the number of times that my mom has asked me to do something, maybe like take chicken out of the freezer or put something on the table or whatever it is, and I forget. I needed the follow-up. You know, she made an ask of me. I said yes, but I didn't actually commit because I did need the follow-up. This is not an excuse to not do what your parents tell you, okay? But it's really important to help folks through things, right? To check in with them if they were able to call in their reps. This is something that they did commit to, right? You made the ask of them, they made that commitment. And when you follow up with them, this is an opportunity to hold them accountable to something that they agreed to. Again, this is not supposed to be a burden. This is supposed to be making a genuine difference, and it's an opportunity for them to get engaged. And then after you follow up, next slide, let's celebrate and offer some gratitude, right? This is something that was an incredible thing that they did, whether it's small or large. Everything that we do is important. Check in with them, ask them how it went. have a conversation afterwards. And this will help build their confidence as well in continuing to commit to the work. So we talked a lot about what does it mean to use relational organizing and the different components. And now I'm going to pass it off to Milton, who's going to walk us through an exercise where we can actually apply these skills.
Thank you, Lama. So this is exciting. Here's the activity that we have planned for you, right? One of the most important things you can do after all your power mapping, after your relationship building, is building your power squad. So we're going to jump into an activity and recruit your power squad.
Oh, yeah?
Your power squad, they're just the group of people who are the most committed to taking action frequently. They're your aces, your people that you reach out to first each and every time. Every time we're in a rapid response moment, I have family, I have parents, I have my sister, I have several best friends, I have a bunch of activist friends, I have former bosses, I have former employees. And I reach out to all of them and really just kind of like ask them to say, immediately, we need this to happen, right? You are going to create your power squad. And these are the people in the passive allies bucket. What we're going to do is you're going to have 10 minutes to ask folks to join your own group of people who are down to take action with you over time and sometimes over short periods of time, like with very little notice. Then you're going to add those folks to a group chat. You might not get through this in 10 minutes, and that's okay. Like, people are going to be slow to respond to you, and that's understandable. But what we want you to do is build that group in your head, start reaching out to them right now in these 10 minutes. And we need folks to reply and agree to being in a group chat first. And you can do this over time. We have worksheets available that we can distribute later. But here you have, reach out to 5 to 10 friends, family members, and recruit them to your power squad. Pick your 5, know who's going to say yes. Pick 2 people you need to have a conversation with. Move them from neutral to active. Create your actual group chat. Signal's great, WhatsApp is fine, whatever your power squad requires, really. My family power squad, it's still in Google, so that's what I have to do. And then add your power squad to the group and have everyone introduce themselves. So let's go ahead and get started. Zach, if we can start the music and the timer, we'll be good.
All right. Well, obviously, we're not going to sit here in silence and build our power squad for 10 minutes. So I'm just going to talk, and hopefully they don't play the music too loud. That would kind of suck. I think I can't actually mute it without muting my microphone because it's coming through my microphone. So hopefully we don't have music that's too loud. I'm going to play some stupid black music or something. Okay. So here's what I want to say. This is so fucking cringe. Like, this is awful. This is an awful training. But it's not that the advice that they're giving is awful. It's that the execution of the training is awful. But, like, here's the thing.
And we're going to have some music playing in the background while y'all are doing this exercise. Apologies for the technical difficulties. We're going to get it up in just a second.
Yeah, okay. Here's the thing. Even though this is cringe and this is boring, this is still more effective than what people on our side are doing. Because this is like basic, I think I saw someone in the chat say it earlier. This is like basic sales. This is basic goal setting in an organization. They were talking about using SMART goals. SMART goals are like specific, they're time bound, stuff like that. SMART goals are something that I used to teach when I was doing corporate training. This is exactly like how things actually work is you communicate with people, you get them in a group chat, you ask them to do stuff. Yes, you have to ask them to do stuff. No, they're probably not going to do it if you don't ask them to do it. It's basic 101 level sales stuff. I saw someone say, like, is this narcissism? Does this look like narcissism to you? This is basic training. This is very entry level stuff. And honestly, it's like the fact that
all right. Apologies for that, y'all, but we did see a question where someone's asking, introduce Power Squad to what group? So just to clarify, this is the group of people that you have within your network that you want to get involved in the work that you're doing right now. For example, You showed up here. I don't know who asked you to show up, but hopefully it was somebody within your network. So these are the kind of asks that we want to make. Think of a group of 5 to 10 friends within your network that are people that you think would be interested in showing up and being further involved in the work. It could be your parents, could be your siblings, could be friends, coworkers, maybe somebody that you met not too well, and that you want to build a deeper relationship with them because y'all bonded about how much you were upset about a particular bill that was passed in your state. Whoever it might be, think of 5 to 10 friends, family members, and folks within your network that you will want to get further involved within the work that we're doing. And we're going to give you specific asks a little bit later, but 5 to 10 friends that you think are pretty aligned and that you can get them to say yes to showing up to a webinar like this, for example.
I mean, this is how, if you want to talk about, like, so the right thinks that the protests that the left does aren't organic. The protests are all staged, they're all planned, all this stuff. Well, the protests are planned, but it's not that they're not real. It's not that people aren't actually just showing up because they want to. The reason the left is able to get so many people to show up at a protest, whereas the right can't get anyone to show up at a protest or a rally if it's not a Trump rally, right? The left can get hundreds, maybe even thousands of people to show up because they do stuff like this. Because they are cultivating these group chats, because they are cultivating these groups that they can then text and say, hey, we need to protest this at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Can you be there? That's how they're able to get these out. So the right seems to think that, and I think Chris is the one that said this to me a while ago, the right thinks if a protest doesn't happen by some guy just showing up on a sidewalk holding a sign and then other people decide to join him, they think if that's not the way the protest is organized, then it's not organic.
In addition to that, while we are working on our power squads and building all that out, please be aware that we do have a Q&A button at the bottom. I know that a lot of you have been submitting questions, and we really appreciate that. Any questions that you may have, go ahead and keep them there. We're going to get to as many of those as we can. We probably will take, I think, maybe about 5 minutes, maybe 4 or 5 minutes to continue thinking about who our power squad's going to be. And again, remember, these are just people within your own networks that you can reach out to on short notice and activate. They may be people who have already activated you, by the way. So think about paying it forward and paying it backwards, and the entire gamut of interaction that can happen when different people within action networks are power mapping.
So the reason the left is able to do these protests is because they do stuff like this all the time. They keep people engaged all the time. They're always training new people on how to bring these groups together and be able to activate these people at a moment's notice. So it's not as though the people who show up at protests and events are paid protesters. They're not. They're just they're cultivating all of this stuff on an ongoing basis. The left does this, the right does not. So people can laugh and make jokes about the fact that this guy obviously can't speak and about how this training is really bad and really boring and it's really cringe. It's still better than doing nothing. You know, someone in the chat said earlier, like at the very beginning, they were like,
just to highlight for the Q&A
God,
folks, like if you did raise your hand, please go ahead and enter your questions into the Q&A field at the bottom using the Q&A button. We will get to your questions through that. We're not going to be acknowledging, we're not going to be like introducing folks and having them ask questions during the actual webinar.
What was I even just saying? What was I even saying? I don't even remember. Let me acknowledge this super chat from two ladies. Thank you, two ladies. Had a strange situation happen at our safety meeting. I have now seen my first two activists speak out during one of our safety meetings. That's crazy, two ladies. I appreciate the super chat. What was I saying? Oh, someone in the chat at the very beginning, they said, well, if you ask your friends and family to do stuff, that can backfire on you. It's exactly that attitude that keeps the right doing nothing. So you can make fun of these people, you can mock them, you can say this is boring and cringe and stupid, but it's still more than probably what you're doing, and it's certainly more than what most people are doing. And it's like, if you tell yourself, well, if I ask my friends and family to do something, then it's going to totally backfire. It's like, that's a great way to never do anything. Great fucking attitude. You know who doesn't have that attitude? The left. And that's why they're able to do everything they're doing, and that's why they're able to get groups together.
Seeing a few
Oh my
questions
God!
in the chat about, or sorry, in the
Can't just
Q&A
let
about what
people
the ask,
cook. You
the
always
ask,
gotta
the
pipe up
specific
and say
ask will be
something.
shared a little bit later in the presentation. But an example
God.
of the ask is attending the next
You
session.
guys
So these are
don't need to
people
give an
in your
update every
lives
2 seconds
who
just because
have
you're
shared
pissed off that
values
your
that you
music
think
isn't
would
working.
benefit from the excuse me, from the Organizing to Protect Democracy series.
What the reason they keep talking is they couldn't get the music to work and it was awkward for them. Oh, music's working now. That's very nice. Yeah, there's no denying that what the left does gets results. Anyone who says that this is all paid protests is a moron. You should stop listening to anyone who says these are paid protesters, because they're not. They get them out because they do stuff like this.
Right in the thick of love. At times we get sick of love. It seems like we argue every day.
And honestly, if the right just like took what they're doing and applied it to themselves, it would already be like a massive improvement over what's going on right now. Literally just do monkey see, monkey do. Go do this. Go get a group of people together. Go start a group chat. You know? Oh, is John Legend? See, I don't know any of this music.
We don't know which way to go. 'Cause we're ordinary people.
And let this be a lesson too. It's like, even if you do the most boring, cringe, stupid thing, it's gonna it's probably gonna be better than what they're doing, because this is boring and cringe and stupid. And so if you really have better ideas than them, then just do the same thing that they're doing and it should work out better.
All right, let's go ahead and reconvene if we can pause the music.
Finally.
And let's go to the next slide.
This ain't a movie, no fairy tale conclusion, y'all. It gets more confusing every day.
Now they can't figure out how to turn the music off.
All right. So, okay. Now you've gathered your power squad. What we want to do is activate them. So think about the ways that you can do that. And now that you've thought about who it's going to be that you're going to be activating, you just need a reason to reach out to them, right? And part of being an organizer, part of like handling all these things is at the end of every interaction, you need to have something for them to do. So let's move on to the next slide, because what we want to do is give them things to do, right? And there are very important things to do. Again, we are a rapid response group. People Power is a rapid response group. We are always trying to like activate our networks to really focus on the places where we can make the most difference, right? So here we have two actions. You're going to see two QR codes on your screen. And essentially, I mean, I don't have to tell anyone on this call that federal agents are surveilling, detaining, and abusing people with almost no oversight. It's putting lives and civil liberties at risk. I'm from Florida, and obviously immigrants are being held in a detention center that's been cruelly dubbed some cartoon name that I'm not going to repeat, where inhumane conditions where they are being held in inhumane conditions without access to legal counsel. Meanwhile, in cities throughout the country, masked and unidentified federal agents are patrolling cities across the country, detaining people off the streets with no transparency or accountability. This is a dangerous escalation of authoritarian tactics designed to silence protest, intimidate communities, and strip us of our basic rights. We can't stay silent, right, while these abuses continue, but we need everyone around us, everyone in our power squad, to not stay silent. So these two actions here basically are aimed towards trying to stem that tide. The first one is about shutting down, I'm going to say the name, Alligator Alcatraz, right? We need to demand an end to this inhumane immigration detention facility. That's what that first QR code is aimed towards doing. The second is to tell Congress to stop masked agents. We need to call for legislation that ends the use of anonymous federal agents in our communities. There's a lot of different ways to do this. ACLU is attacking this from all angles, at all levels of government, right? But that QR code will kind of like help you activate your power squad towards adding to it. So our communities deserve justice, transparency and safety, not fear and abuse. We need to speak up before more lives are harmed. This is how you can activate your power squad to help do that. This is how you can multiply yourself, how to amplify your own voice, how to tell people that you care, and give them a task to actually make a difference. These are the types of things that we kind of activate and do. So let's do this for 5 minutes. If we can start the timer, I will go ahead and let's actually try to reach out to our power squads while we're doing this, and make this happen. Zach, if we could start the music. Oh,
So those petitions had
who doesn't like
those petitions had one had like 50,000 signatures, the other had 200, almost 250,000 signatures. So don't tell me this is not working. This is absolutely working.
Y'all haters corny with that Illuminati mess. Paparazzi catch
Illuminati
my
mess.
cocky fresh. I'm so reckless when I rock my Givenchy dress. I'm so possessive, so I rock his rock necklace.
Gotta sign up for the third one while we're waiting.
Mama Louisiana. You mix that Negro with that Creole, make a Texas Bama. I like my baby hair with baby hair.
And they're making people do stuff on the call too, which is smart because they're basically carving out the time where people have to do stuff. Otherwise, we just sit here. We're more bored. Yeah, I hate this music too. This music sucks.
What's mine? Hey, what's mine? I'm a star. Cause I slay. I slay. I slay. I slay. Okay. I slay. I slay. I slay. We gon' slay. Gon' slay. We slay. I slay. I slay. Okay. I slay. Okay, ladies, now let's get information. I slay.
I hate this music. I hate this so much.
I slay. Who to me you got some coordination. I slay. Slay trick or you get eliminated.
Just to highlight for the folks who cannot get the QR codes to work, please look in the chat box. We have posted the links in the chat box for both of these actions. So if you're having trouble with the QR code, please look in the chat box. Both links are there. You can spread those far and wide, believe me.
You just might be a black Bill Gates in the making. I just might be a black Bill Gates in the making.
I cannot stand this music. I hate this. I'm sorry. I hate this. Why am I listening to this shit on the internet? This is what the fuck? This is the worst punishment ever. Oh. One in the chat if you like this music, two in the chat if you think this music is crap. I feel like I'm getting so old. I'm like, and you kids and your stupid music that sucks. Music in my day was so much better. I had my formative years during the 90s, man. There is no better music than the 90s. This sucks. Why is this popular? Why do people think this is good? Can we start a power group
let's,
about
pause
canceling
the
this music?
I hope everyone is out there
Oh,
really reaching
thank
out to their
God.
power squad.
Yeah, Power Squad, F this music. F
I could have listened to
Beyonce.
that all night, but we're here for a reason. We're here. We have a mission, right?
I don't even remember what it is. That music's distracting
We
me.
have If we can move to the next slide. We have here the next steps, right? Is that me? That was me. All right, here we have the next ask, right? This is an ask for you. Okay, so in the spirit of relational organizing, we don't just want you to RSVP to the next people power training. We want you to share this training with the people you know. Bring your power squad to the next event. We're going to continue doing this. This is a series of 4, but believe me, it's not going to end. The resistance will not end. The revolution will not end. And we're going to be a part of it with you. But we need your power squad to come along. So go ahead and we need everyone to go ahead and share the next popular education event with 3 friends. Again, you already recruited 5 for your power squad. So you know what? Forget it. I'm changing it. We're not sharing it with 3. You need to share it with your entire power squad. We need everybody on the next one. And then go ahead and post it on your social media and tag ACLU National. That's at ACLU_nationwide. Use that QR code if you would like, because we do have more of these coming up. We are going to take our Q&A questions. So we are kind of like collecting those right now. So if you have any last minute questions, go ahead and submit them using the Q&A button at the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and pause.
There's a ton of questions.
We're going to give you guys a couple of minutes to go ahead and text some friends. Text your power squad who you're already chatting with. Tell them to go ahead and join our next popular education event, because in a couple of minutes, we're going to go ahead and take some questions. And we'd love to, number one, get your thoughts, get your questions, know what it is that is on your mind, know where it is that we can do better, know what it is that you want to know about in these future sessions, so that we can then go ahead and, fulfill that need in the future, but also answer any questions that you may have currently right now in the moment. So we're going to take 2 minutes for that.
So I'm looking at the Q&A tab right now because they have the chat turned off, because there's so many people. By the way, there's so many people on this training that they turn the chat off. There are a ton of questions in the Q&A. And so what's happening is the ACLU actually has staff members on this webinar, and they're going through and responding to every single person already in the Q&A tab. And even if they people can put things in the Q&A tab that aren't questions, that are just more comments on the situation, and they're even responding to all of those. So they're really trying to use this as an event to like engage people that are on it. They're trying to make them feel like they're welcome, like they're part of something, they're part of some community. Basically, the whole goal of this is to get access to their networks, right? But also to get them to come to more trainings, so they feel like they're part of like something bigger than themselves, and they're going to bring all their friends along with them. This is why they win. Now we're going to play more shitty music. This is better than the last thing we heard, though. This is, not the worst thing I've ever heard in the world. Let's see, I'm like scrolling through the Q&A tab right now. People are asking basic questions about how to get involved. Yeah, I don't hate this song. The song's better than the Beyonce one. It's not great. It's not like it's, I'm judging on a scale here. It's not fair. I just need a little love, and I just need a little hair. Think I'm gonna call it art, even if you call it love. I just love someone who calls me baby. I can't tell how many people are on the training. They have that turned off, so. Sometimes you can see how many people are on it, and sometimes you can't. They don't have that feature today. They're literally responding to everyone in the Q&A tab. I'm seeing if they have a recording of the first training. It honestly doesn't matter how many people are on it. It makes no difference, honestly. It's just about what are they teaching, what are they putting out there. We don't know how many people are going to be, you know. We don't know how many people watch this after the fact, so it's kind of like it doesn't really matter how many people are on the live one.
All right.
That was a little
All right.
ominous at the end there.
Thank you, Zach. Who doesn't get activated by the little chaperone?
Well, yeah, exactly. No, I can't
now
show
that
the
we
chat.
have
There's no chat, like I said.
kind of like taken some time and asked some folks to join our next event. We are, well, number one, if we can go to the next slide. This is where you can find us. We want to thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight for the second session of our Organizing to Protect Democracy series. There are obviously here 3 separate, multiple ways that you can continue to stay in contact with us. Number one, sign up for our People Power community to volunteer with the ACLU. They are our number one resource for rapid response anytime we need anything. These are the folks that we call on to help us amplify our message throughout different parts of the country. Sometimes it's everywhere and sometimes it's very specific places. But if you are a part of the People Power community, then we can reach out to you and make sure that we let you know exactly what needs to be done when it needs to be done. When you sign up, you're going to receive an email invitation to our People Power Slack where you can join our text and call teams. Our People Power Slack is the number one way that we kind of like activate our day-to-day volunteers, the people that kind of like do the work day in and day out. You can also reach out to us anytime with questions. If you're having trouble with connecting, if you have any issues, you can reach out, connect with us at info@peoplepower.org, or you can get connected with your local affiliate. We will be putting those links out there. But really, if you go to aclu.org/peoplepower, that'll lead you to the rest of this. So number one, you need to sign up for the next trainings. Number two, you need to be a part of People Power. And number three, you need to recruit folks to do so. Now, having said that, if we can move to the next slide. Now we have a few minutes to answer any questions you have about what we've covered. We've been asking you to kind of like chime in, and feel free to ask now. You can submit those questions at that Q&A box. If you've joined us by phone and you can't do that, you can also send those questions to info@peoplepower.org, and we will get back to you. Now, let's go ahead and take our questions. Lemma, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Milton. I am pumped and I am excited to activate my power squad and keep mobilizing and moving and building.
I think it's the formation and the chaperone back to back, like
absolutely.
it's just chef's kiss. All right, okay, we have a good question here, and this is an important one that I think all of us have, you know, even before we were organizers, kind of like struggled with. And that is, here's the actual question. I don't have a network to pull around, but instead am looking to join one. Help, Lemma.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, lucky for you, we are part of your network, right? And this is how we build. You might not have somebody who's right there with you in person, But I encourage you to be brave. And if you have an opportunity to go chat with a neighbor, talk to somebody at the grocery store, there's also opportunities to connect with people outside of in-person spaces. We can also connect with people virtually and meet folks there as well. Whether it's social media, I don't want to say too much social media because social media can get, we can go through a dark hole. I don't know about y'all, but I am definitely doom scrolling when I'm on social media, but I have actually made some connections with people. And so whatever tool is available to you, whatever groups, whatever hobbies that you have, there's always an opportunity to connect with those around you, whether it's online or in person. We have a much bigger network than we realize, and I hope that we are here for you and help support you and continue to build it out.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think a follow-up question that we're kind of getting a lot of, people are specifically asking about the kind of tools that we use. And we specifically name dropped Signal and WhatsApp. But you know that we have a great deal of tools at our disposal that we use as organizers, that different organizations use. So specifically, why Signal and WhatsApp, and then maybe talk about what they should look for in other tools if they decide to not use those specifically.
Absolutely. The most important thing is making the ask. There, as Milton mentioned, there's a lot of tools. And the reason that we recommend tools like Signal and WhatsApp is because of something called double encryption, which just makes it a little bit more secure in terms of how you're sending messages to each other back and forth. So it's more around security. But that doesn't mean that you should not ask people in a text message or on a phone call or when you're seeing them in person. Whatever tools you have available to you, take advantage of it to make that ask.
Something else that we hear a lot from, I think, folks in our network is, what do I do when I live in an area with very supportive legislators? Like, why would sending these messages be an effective strategy in those areas where you're already kind of getting everything you want out of that elected official? So, like, talk about that maybe.
Ooh, that's a really great question. And I love that for you. And I hope that trend continues and that they do continue to be supportive and in alignment. But one of the things that we have within this system is we elect folks, right? And we want to hold them accountable. So even if they're doing the thing that we want them to do, we need to make sure that they hear our voices, that we continue to uplift, and that they know that they are on the right path. So if they are, aligning with you, fantastic. If not, we need to we need to make sure that we are heard regardless, right? Because sometimes there's legislatures that would say, oh, I never hear from my constituents, they always agree with me. But it's important that whether they agree, whether they don't, that we are engaging with our legislatures and holding them accountable.
100%. Okay. I think, Zach, we can move on to the next slide. We again want to say thank you. But I want to kind of wrap this up and put a bow on it because I want to talk about how often we feel like we're bombarded by commercials, how we get the same message over and over again through various different means, right? And there's a reason for that. It's all called about layered impact. When you see a TV ad, when you get a mailer, when you hear a radio spot, when you get a phone call or knock on your door, all of these things have all of these things kind of like build on top of each other. Each of these touches has a persuasive effect. That effect fades over time. Now, when you think about someone that you love and trust, their level of persuasion also has a decay rate, typically about 6 months. So if you continue to follow up, if you continue to engage them in one-on-one conversations, and if you bring them to a community that reinforces shared values, you keep them with you, you carry them with you, you take them to the next action, to the next mission, to the next event. But if you don't nurture that connection, their commitment fades. So without ongoing engagement, people drift away. That is why relational organizing is so powerful and important. That's why it's so great that you all are here. We want you to continue building on this. Make sure you do sign up for our next pop-out event. And, I can't wait to talk to you guys again very soon. Thank you all for joining us. We very much appreciate it. Have a great night.
No, those were not all the questions. Those were all the questions they elected to answer. All right, well, that was really boring.
Recording stop.
And lame and stupid. But I do just want to point this out. Just because it was boring and lame and stupid does not mean it's ineffective. So this is the website that they're sending people to. I put the link in the chat. I just want to show you guys something. So you have the ability, any of us have the ability to sign up to be a volunteer with the ACLU based on this campaign. That takes you to this form where you basically have to like agree to a whole bunch of stuff. But one of the things I found interesting was they might give us access to confidential information. So the ACLU might give people who volunteer on the website and maybe get engaged in their Slack group access to confidential information. Really? Really? That seems like an opportunity, doesn't it? Yeah, we're nonpartisan. Okay, ACLU. But basically, you have to fill out this whole form, and then you have to put your email address in, and they will send you access to like a Slack group where they're talking about this stuff and organizing and all that stuff. And so I just point this out to say that they're obviously engaging a lot of people doing these webinars. There was not an insignificant amount of people on that webinar, and I know because of how many questions were sent in, because I actually could see the Q&A tab. I'm just saying I may have signed up for this, and maybe you wanted to if you feel like it. But that training was really boring and cringe, and I'm kind of glad it's over, and that's it. There wasn't even anything real there. I took no notes during that training. But the point of that training was to offer a way for people to get engaged, and I think that they did that. And again, it's more than what people on our side do, so who's to say, I guess. Anyway, guys, that's all we have for tonight. I do appreciate they kept the training to an hour, because I got other stuff I'm going to go do. I will be back tomorrow for happy hour at 5 p.m. We'll have some beer. We'll watch some content. I don't know what we're watching yet, but we're going to watch something at 5 p.m. tomorrow. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Take care, guys.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer. is influencing my thinking and consequently my action.
What is it you're trying to do with your life?
Play the piano for people.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.